Webinterpret, opening worldwide e-commerce.
This webinar is covering a deep dive into Google's shopping ads as the ultimate sales tool for retailers to truly maximize seasonal international sales for Christmas and Black Friday. As a quick introduction, I'm Sergey. My role at Webinterpret is a product specialist for our online stores products. In general, I make sure that all of our customer-facing agents know what the product is, what they need to do, know the tools that allow them to do it, and that the quality of what they deliver is as high as possible. I also manage the onboarding process for our shopping ads solution, ensuring the proper communication between the involved teams, monitoring the stages, and work on optimization of the said process from when the retailers sign up for our services up to and including the launch of their international campaigns. Today, I'm joined by Marianne Lutz. She's the Strategic Partner Manager for e-commerce at Google. Marianne?
Hi, everyone. My name is Marianne. I'm part of a global e-commerce partnerships team here at Google. So I drive partnerships within EMEA, and I support new partners in their product integration with our shopping programs.
All right, thank you, Marianne. The purpose of today's webinar is to introduce you to the challenges you may be facing selling domestically, how to overcome them to really maximize your international sales for this Christmas seasonal period, as well as 2020 and onwards with shopping ads on Google. We'll also cover how Webinterpret solution utilizes that tool for you on an international scale. If you have any questions, please go to the questions sections in the webinar user panel and submit them. We will answer them in our FAQ section at the end of this webinar. And without further ado, let's get started. So before we discuss the opportunities of selling internationally, I'd like to first explore what the current climate of domestic selling looks like and what direction it is heading into the future. For most of you joining us today, domestic sales will cover the majority or even all of your sales portfolio. However, the last few years, we are seeing a trend where dependency on domestic sales is not just stagnating business growth, but also putting a lot of retailers in potential financial danger. Whether it's through increasing competition, saturated markets, or even potential recessions, it's a threat to domestic retailers. Here at Webinterpret, we look to help retailers such as yourselves move away from this danger zone and into markets where there's a greater potential for business and sales growth. So let's first start with understanding how retail and the way we buy and sell has evolved over the last 20 years. In such a short time, we have seen a seismic shift from the way consumers bought products and how retailers compete on the market. Before the adoption of the internet, physical stores were how retailers differentiated themselves from their competition. In the 80s, it was the small corner shops who supplied the neighborhoods. By the 90s, the large retail stores flooded the market, providing more product choice and supplying the cities via a wider physical reach and greater accessibility. The smaller shops were forced to adapt to be able to compete with these giant retailers. The introduction of the internet changed everything. This physical store size that gave those large retailers a competitive advantage no longer meant instant success. What mattered was how sellers reached and connected with buyers outside of their location. Technology has removed barriers from commerce. Today, there's more demand in the world for products than ever before, and buyers are now global. It is this adoption to connect with as many buyers as possible that has become the key to success for e-commerce. Retailers who fail to adapt and connect with buyers internationally are facing challenges as domestic e-commerce has become a competitive fight for survival. These removal of e-commerce barriers means that markets are becoming increasingly saturated with flows of new brands and competitors. Additionally, external events, impacts from Brexit and the US export restrictions war with China has created an environment of e-commerce uncertainty for many retailers who sell in and out of those markets. This increasing competition is not only going to make the remainder of 2019 and onwards difficult to grow, but also can limit just how successful your Christmas sales period can be. So how do you maximize your sales potential for Black Friday, the Christmas seasonal period, and even beyond? We need to take a look into unlocking and accessing these global buyers. It is this access to global buyers that provides retailers with a greater sales potential. The reduced cost of acquisition alone, in comparison to reaching domestic buyers, provides a cheaper marketing investment per buyer conversion, allowing you to invest in other areas of your business or back into your sales and marketing is what puts you one step ahead of your competition. For example, according to eMarketer, only 1% of over 30 million US companies sell their products or services internationally. By selling internationally as well, you not only open your business to more buyers than ever before, but you also move away and ahead of your competition who are currently attempting to win over the limited number of customers within the US or the UK. So just how big is the sales potential we keep mentioning, and where can we find it? Let's take a look at the global e-commerce market as a whole. This is a forecast created by eMarketer highlighting the potential growth for the global market, and as you can see, it is staggering. In 2019, the global retail e-commerce market is valued at $3.5 trillion. By 2023, it is estimated that the e-commerce market value will almost double to $6.5 trillion. If we compare this to the US, for example, the e-commerce market value for the United States is $561 billion. Whilst the US remains one of the largest markets in the world, there is a lot of additional growth potential for your business in other markets. This is a statistical analysis of e-commerce shoppers for 2019 carried out by Statista. As of today, there are 1.79 billion digital shoppers worldwide, with a projected increase to 2.14 billion by 2021. Whilst the US remains the second largest market in the world, the other top 9 markets are valued at a combined $1.2 trillion. So by selling entirely in the US, your market is only worth 32% of the top 10 markets worldwide. If you are a UK-based seller, that value is even lower at just a mere 5% of the top 10 markets, with a market value of 93 billion. A UK domestic seller would miss on 95 of the potential sales, and this is only covering the top 10 markets. For the entire global e-commerce value, the UK only represents 2.6%. As we can see here, there is an immense amount of untapped sales potential that domestic sellers aren't accessing. So we've highlighted the amazing potential that selling internationally can provide to your business growth and its sales. However, it does have its challenges. The pure mechanics of taking your products from your store in the US or UK and not only creating visibility of those products, but also a platform so you can connect with sellers in Spain, Australia, Canada, anywhere in the world, can be a complex and, quite frankly, daunting challenge to a lot of retailers. From the face of it, it may appear as costly in terms of expense, time-consuming, or even nigh impossible to know where to even start accessing these worldwide buyers. This is where shopping ads come in. For many of you, you'll already be involved in Google Ads domestically. You may have already seen how it is an attractive e-commerce platform for both online buyers and retailers. For buyers, it's like a digital mall. They can enter, browse, and see many brands and types of products on one screen. Their buying possibilities are endless. For retailers, shopping ads is a huge traffic driving source that increases earning potential for online stores. According to a digital marketing report from Merkle, it has approximately 30% higher conversion rates than text ads, providing you greater profitability. I'd now like to pass you over to Marianne, who will take you through sales trends for the holidays and the future of international sales with Google.
Thank you very much. So let me take you through some of the trends that we see around the holiday season and what you can do to make the most out of this season. As we just heard, digital's role in retail continues to grow. Consumers have become increasingly curious, and they are doing their research. 59% of global shoppers say that they research online before they buy to ensure that they're making the best choice possible. And global shoppers also tell us that they spend on average 52% of their time shopping online. That is a lot of time researching for products. Also, 51% of online purchases were made on a smartphone by shoppers in EMEA. So with a mobile device that's always close, consumers have information at their fingertips and are able to make purchases whenever and whenever they want. We also know that the consumer shopping journeys are now very long and more complex. Consumers have multiple touch points and shoppers are looking for products in many different categories. Globally, shoppers on average are currently shopping for 6.6 categories. So as digital continues to play a bigger role in the festive shopping season and consumer journeys get longer and more complicated, the benefit is that there is more and more data available for us to use to first understand those consumers better and then deliver messages which are helpful to them at whichever stage they are in their journey. So what kind of behavior do we see on consumers and what are the challenges in this ever-changing space? Keeping up with the consumer is not easy and a constant challenge for retailers. Some of the things that we've heard is that 56% of shoppers are indifferent to which brand they shop. So they're not looking for a specific brand and customer loyalty is decreasing. 50% of shoppers abandon a site that takes too long to load. Check out how your site is performing with our Test My Site tool and see how your site rates. Also, 46% of shoppers that decide to shop in a physical store check to see whether the item they have their eyes on is actually in stock. And although retailers are facing many challenges, we know that the shopping or the holiday season is the most important time of the year, and last year was definitely one for the books. 2018 was a record-breaking holiday with retail sales totaling more than $850 billion. This is an incredible number, and as we drill down to the e-commerce side, the performance was no less impressive. For the first time this past holiday season, 61% of online purchases were made on a smartphone. And even when consumers were shopping in store, they used digital to help them decide what to buy and from whom. We found that over half of all US retail sales were impacted by a digital touchpoint. And as a result of all this, we saw the strongest online sales growth in 10 years, up to 19%. Consumer behavior has changed in general, but what do we know about what Black Friday really means to consumers today? Customer intent is different on Black Friday than it is for the rest of the peak season. It's a different customer mindset at a time of year when most traditional advertising would be talking about gifting, because after all, isn't that what Christmas is really about? But it's a lot more complicated than that. While some people do buy early gifts on Black Friday, most consumers are purchasing for themselves. 61% of the buyers buy themselves a gift. It's promotionally driven. It's value-led behavior as opposed to purchasing triggered by a need to find gifts. People do not buy because they're looking for something. They're looking for something and buy because of the promotions. And although originating from the US, we've seen an enormous growth in Black Friday search queries and purchases across many countries now. In Europe, Germany, France, and the UK are the usual suspects, but also markets in the Middle East and Asia Pacific are seeing large increases. One more challenge, though, that we see this year, a bit less complicated, is simply the calendar. With Thanksgiving happening 6 days later than last year, retailers will lose 6 consumer shopping days between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So what does this tell us? First of all, the festive shopping journeys start picking up from September onwards and continue until well after Christmas. And crucially, they are different for everyone. It's important to know your customer. Second, shopping journeys are not at all linear. We are all using multiple channels offline and online to research and get inspiration before we make that purchase. And finally, Black Friday is still important, but we must see this as part of the overall holiday journey, not just as an isolated event. There is a clear opportunity for you to win new customers during the festive period. More than half of global shoppers say that they use Google to discover or find a new brand. And 54% say that when they're shopping online, they visit multiple websites before settling on what to buy and who to buy it from. Do you want to be taken into consideration? And do you want your products to be taken into consideration? To put themselves in the best possible position for this holiday season, retailers need to ensure that they're maximizing their digital presence and giving customers the seamless, relevant, and especially helpful experience that they're looking for, from the very start of their shopping journey until they land on your website or in your store. So let's talk about what Google brings to the table to help you grab these opportunities. Here is your 3-step strategy to ensure that you can hit your sales and business growth goals this Q4. First of all, accelerate your business with data. So how does the consumer react to having 6 less days of shopping? Let's have a look at the trends. As you can see in the red line, we had a similar shortened season in 2013. And as expected, consumers begin their shopping earlier, which becomes the first half of Thanksgiving week. With 20% fewer shopping days after Cyber Monday, shoppers will be spending more throughout the remainder of the holidays. So you need to make sure that you have sufficient budget throughout the period. And for those brick and mortar retailers, don't forget the post-shipping cutoff period when demand increases. What was the holiday season in 2013 like for you? Have a look at your data. Other insights are related to your inventory. So as we head into the holiday season, ensure that you have the right items at the proper inventory levels to succeed. Gather the insights into which brands you carry, but also specific high demand products that you may not have. Also look at your inventory levels against the current trends to help anticipate the need to promote certain products accordingly. And if you offer high demand items, make sure that you have proper funding to make sure that they can surface. Taking it a step further, when you determine which high demand items are in your feed, marry that insight with price benchmarks to take advantage of your competitive pockets. In the name of optimization and strategy, use these benchmarks to gain high-level insights about what percentage of your brands, categories, and products are priced higher or lower than the weighted average. These insights can allow you to conserve budget in areas where you're less competitive. Or you can pair this data with other key metrics, such as your own margin data, to more aggressively promote or fund areas where you are priced slightly better, yet not showing up in a prominent place. The second step in this 3-step strategy is to connect with customers throughout their journey. An important part of shopping is the health of your inventory. So look at your reports to ensure that all your SKUs are not collecting dust on the digital shelves. Are the products you're curating in stock? Are they targeted? Are they even receiving impressions? Are you connecting with your customers while they're conducting their research online? Just being in the consideration set is a big part of driving your e-commerce sales. Also, be smart about your audiences. Use the power of Google data to connect with your shopping audience in the right way and at the right time. By collecting website visitors across different countries, you can reconnect throughout the journey. So retarget those customers or website visitors to join up a complex journey and drive conversions. Our third and last step is to drive action. Drive action on your website, drive action across the web. How can you drive action? This is where our smart shopping campaigns come into play. This format will help you find customers that are looking for your products across search, Google Display Networks, YouTube, and Gmail. Optimization is done automatically for you to reach your goals. And on average, we're seeing an increased 30% average conversion value at a similar cost compared to our standard shopping campaigns. And during the holiday period last year, an extra 35% was added on top. Also make use of machine learning. Make sure that you're bidding based on the potential value that each customer has to your business. You can use a target return on ad spend bidding strategy to maximize your absolute return at your desired efficiency, or go for a smart shopping campaign. Our solutions use auction time signals that are exclusive in Google Ads. Shopping smart bidding solutions are now used by tens of thousands of advertisers globally. How can we make sure that the smart bidding solutions work well for you? Good inputs give us good results. A final recommendation is to keep the automation on throughout the holiday. Last year, retailers that followed this approach saw the best results. Make sure to take advantage of the sales price attribute in your feed to let consumers and our bidding models know that there is a promotion happening. Also adjust your return on ad spend targets and uncapped budgets to capture the increased demand opportunity. You can also experiment with changing your return on ad spend targets prior to the peak periods and utilize seasonality adjustments if needed. So to give you a quick recap around the 3-step strategy, accelerate your business with data, connect with customers throughout their journey, and drive action on site and across the web. Thank you very much. I'm now handing it back over to Sergey.
Thank you very much, Marianne. That was very informative. So, as we can see, shopping ads with Google is a highly effective tool for your both domestic and international shopping. We've seen that the benefits of selling internationally overthrow that of solely selling domestically. To sum up, it offers greater access to buyers worldwide with a huge market to tap into, lower competition as the majority of US and UK retailers are domestic sellers. It also offers a reduced cost of buyer acquisition as the cost per click for your shopping ads in each market is lower in comparison to the UK and US. This ultimately leads to an overall improvement of the return on investment for your business. It does, however, have one drawback for retailers and sellers, which also tends to be the biggest challenge for international e-commerce, and that is localization. Localization is one of the most important aspects of international selling, but the most overlooked factor. Here at Webinterpret, we find retailers often struggle offering their customers the same localized experience their domestic buyers have. So let's imagine you're selling your product and someone in Spain finds your shopping ad. They've clicked your ads, they have the intent to purchase your product, but if they can't speak English or they can't pay in dollars or pounds, they're going to have a really difficult time buying what you're selling. We find localization to be the biggest reason buyers leave your product page or your checkouts don't convert. They need to be offered a localized experience, and in the 10 years we've been working with retailers and sellers, it's this localization that we have identified as being the key to success to international e-commerce. This is where Webinterpret assists retailers in their international e-commerce journey. Webinterpret provides the tools for retailers to expand internationally and connect with their global buyers by localization through Google. We take your product listings into Google and post them in your desired countries. Our solution translates the listings into the language and currency of the new markets, providing buyers with the same local experience they expect and providing your store with new sales opportunities. At the same time, we decrease your cost per click on your campaigns. By identifying your top keywords for your products in international markets, we can pinpoint which provide a lower cost per click and a better return. On average, our customers see a sales increase of 98% in the first 30 days. As an added bonus, because our e-commerce technology translates your products into new markets and new languages, your site automatically is indexed for international SEO, increasing your website's traffic organically. The solution is a quick and simple setup. All you need to do is connect your Google account and we'll take care of the rest. Setup from our end usually takes a couple of days to a week. And once we've set your page, your shipping listings on Google are instantly localized and the currency is converted to your chosen international markets. Ultimately, you keep full control. We'll set the return on ad spend to your desired rate and your campaigns are launched in your chosen markets. You'll start seeing results in the first 30 days. For over 12 years, Webinterpret has been connecting customers with international buyers. During this time, we have partnered with retailers of all sizes across countries all around the world. Our e-commerce solutions have helped 30,000 retailers grow their international sales, generating $1.5 billion GMV each year. And we're here to help you this Christmas period. We'd now like to open the floor to answer any questions you might have. We'll try to answer as many as possible with the time we have remaining, but the questions that we won't be able to cover will be answered via an email after the session closes. All right, so let's take a look at some questions here. Maybe this one. Yeah, it looks like a good one. So what countries are available and which tend to be the best markets to target? Oh, all right. So shopping ads has fully launched into 49 countries, and our solution supports the top 25 at this moment with top 25 international markets and 27 currencies total. In terms of which market tends to be the best, now this is a little bit more difficult. That there is no straight answer really here. It's entirely dependent on a range of factors, such as the products that you sell, the specific country trends, I don't know, seasonal periods, and so on and so on. So many factors can determine really what country is going to be the best for you, where you're going to find the most success. One of the ways we help is by analyzing all of this information and the product range and identify which countries would have the highest potential. So we do operate on that information. Again, over 10 years of experience, we've gathered a lot of data. All right, so maybe let's take a look at another question. What kind of results are your current sellers seeing? All right, so we did briefly touch upon that. So our sellers are seeing a substantial increase within the first 30 days. So you will notice a growth within the first 30 days. On average, that growth is about 98% increase to their international sales, and we're talking the first month. And with the highest growth that we have ever encountered was 500%. So it's not just that as well, right? So our solution will ensure the cost reduction, right? So the cost will stay lower, and we will maintain the set return on ad spend. So we take all of that into consideration. So is it only limited to the mentioned platforms? Yes, right now, to be able to join the Webinterpret program, you need to have a store either on Magento, OnePointX, BigCommerce, or Shopify. This might change in the future, and some other platforms may be added, but currently we are working with these 3 largest platforms, and yeah, so that would be the limitation there. How much does it cost? That's a fair question. For our shopping ads solution, we offer a free plan for UK and the US only. So if you're from many other countries, please do let us know. Maybe we can do something about it. All right. So I believe this is the time that we have for today. So thank you for attending to our webinar, and we'd like to invite you to a free analysis of your online store shopping ads sales potential with either myself or one of our e-commerce experts. Our tool takes your store's top products and generates a personalized report identifying the best international markets with the highest sales potential for your store. This is a really effective way to pinpoint where your greatest sales potential could be this Christmas period, and we'd be delighted to run you through that. We will send an email tomorrow with an invitation on how to book your free analysis. And thank you again for attending our webinar covering a deep dive into shopping ads with Google as the ultimate sales tool for retailers. We wish you every success this Christmas period, and we're looking forward to working with you. Have a great day. Thank you.